In this video, I'll show you how I made over $20,000 on Amazon KDP from just one book. What's up guys, welcome back to another video. If you're new to the channel, my name is Sean and I've built a multiple six-figure KDP business which I eventually sold for $820,000, and now I'm building my second KDP account. In this channel, we try to do things a little differently than other channels out there, where I actively show you my actual results that I'm getting for both my first and my second KDP account and share you the strategies that I'm taking. I have a playlist that you guys can check out called KDP Income Reports. If you check out my channel, there will be a playlist. And you can follow along on my journey of building my second KDP account once again to the level of making six figures or more. So if you want no BS publishing advice from someone who's actually doing it, then make sure to subscribe. So in this video, I want to show you a book that is currently my bestseller for my second KDP brand. I've had plenty of books for my first KDP account that made well over $20,000 a year, just from those single books. But for my second account that's fairly new, this is my bestseller. So I'm going to go over why I think this has become a bestseller and what exactly I've done to make it sell this much. So before we start, if you want a free training on how I built a seven-figure KDP business, then the link is in the description below. So this is the book that we'll be looking at today. You can see that from just this one book, since I published, which is around February, up till now, which is the beginning of 2023 in January, I've made $19,600 on KDP side. If you include ACX and Ingram Spark, it's a little over $20,000. And so far, this book is my #1 bestseller for my second KDP brand. So what did I do differently for this book? So the very first thing that I've done is I helped an underserved audience. When I was niching down from this keyword, I found a very specific segment of this keyword that was very, very underserved. There wasn't a ton of books on this topic. And so it was very low competition, but also I knew that people were looking for this book because I had previous experience and knowledge in this topic. So I niched down significantly by creating a book only for a very specific audience. And I'm going to give you some examples on how I created a book that's like literally specific to that audience. But not only this reduced competition, but also increased conversion rates. The conversion rates is very, very high as this audience knew that the book was specifically created for them. So what is an example of a hyper-targeted audience? So that'll be something like dog training workbook for husky moms. So rather than creating a dog training book that applies to every single dog out there, I created a dog training book specifically for huskies, right? And not only for all husky owners, but specifically moms that owns husky. So that is a hyper targeted audience within a fairly broad keyword out there. Another example is ketogenic diet for seniors or women over 50. So now it's not just a normal ketogenic diet book. We're niching down into just seniors over 50 or just women over 50. So these are just some examples. I didn't actually publish in these keywords, but just to show you an example of how hyper targeted my keyword was to a specific audience. So because it was super specific, very small niche, I basically ranked on page 1 immediately after publishing. And I followed it up with running Amazon ads to make sure it picked up sales momentum and reviews over time. I didn't really have to do a crazy big launch because the moment I published, I was already on page 1. So I didn't really have to push it even further up on page 1. What I did instead was to gradually get reviews and gradually pick up sales and slowly gain that momentum over time. So that's the benefit of niching down and going into a smaller competition keyword is you really don't have to spend a ton of money in book launch because the ranking is much easier. So I also utilized sites like Puppy to gather reviews in the beginning as it was harder to build an ARC team. So since my keyword was very, very specific to a certain audience, that I didn't really have the ability to go and gather reviews from the normal ARC process. Because, even if I joined Facebook groups or even if I email my list, there wasn't really a lot of people in that email list that was in that audience. So that's why instead of trying to gather reviews that way, I utilize services like Puppy, which makes it a lot easier to gather reviews. So if you're new to Puppy, it's basically a subscription-based membership where you can enter a book club and you can review other people's books and also request others to leave a review on your book. This is done in a non-review swapping way, so it's within the Amazon terms. I'm not really going to explain too much because you can go to the website and read through how it works, but it's a very cheap and cost-effective way to gather a lot of reviews. So if you do want to check out Puppy, then I'll leave a link in the description below. So once I've identified this keyword and I knew that there was potential in it, obviously I followed up with creating a very high quality book in that. I hired ghostwriters and editors that were exactly my target audience. So what do I mean by this? Well, if my book topic was ketogenic diet for women over 50, I hired freelancers, in this case, ghostwriters and editors that were both women over 50 who had experience, personal experience with the ketogenic diet. That is how specific I went, because I want someone that can integrate personal stories and relatable examples in the book, which will increase the book quality significantly. A lot of times with nonfiction books, people don't just want tips and information. They also want relatable stories from the authors, right? So they're buying the author and you and your brand just as much as the information. So that is exactly what takes a book that is a 4-star quality, where people think it's just okay, to a book that is 5-star quality, that is absolutely amazing. Those personal stories by the author, where you can integrate that with a bunch of examples, with tips and also good information, is what makes a 5-star nonfiction book. So I wanted to do exactly that. So I hired the writer and editor that's also in the exact target audience, so that they can go and add those stories in. This made sure the book content to be absolutely great. And the results of that is, so far I have 220 reviews with a 4.8 average rating, which is really, really, really good. This basically means that most of the time I'm getting 5-star reviews. The next thing I've done is to invest more in book covers. So I hired a professional designer and paid $100 for a cover design. Typically, I pay between $50 to $100 per design, delivered in 3 formats. So when I work with a cover designer, I will pay them a flat fee and they have to deliver the same design in an ebook, print, and audio cover format. So in this case, I decided to pay on the higher end of my cover design budget. I think the highest that I've paid is $200, and I don't really recommend paying more than $200 because I feel like you can get a really, really high quality 5-star bestseller type of cover design within $200. I never really had to pay more than that. So in this case, I paid $100. I recommend you guys to stay within that budget as well. But in terms of where you can go, you can use websites like Upwork, 99 Designs, or Fiverr. So in the case of this book, I've actually used 99 Designs. There is 2 ways to order on 99 Designs. You can create a contest for book covers, which is around $200 for the bronze package. I've made some videos on how to do that, but you can also work with designers one-on-one from here. Kind of use 99 Designs essentially as Upwork, where you can go and reach out to individual designers and try and work one-on-one with them. If you do that, you can do it a little cheaper, so between $100, $120 or so. So if you want to do that, then you go to 99 Designs. I'll leave a link below this video. You can click on Find a Designer here, and then you just want to go to the book cover section. And from here, you can sort even more on the left-hand side section with different niches, designer level, and when was the last time they were online. But if you find any designs that you really like and you want to work with that person, then you can actually click on their name here and you can message them, negotiate a rate to work one-on-one, and you can invite to work, which is essentially creating a project, and you can start working with them on a one-on-one basis. So for this book, that's exactly what I've done. I worked with someone on 99 Designs one-on-one, and I got a super good cover that really stood out. So if you guys want to check out 99 Designs, I'll leave a link in the description once again. But that is a really, really great option for creating high quality covers for a pretty affordable price. If you think about it, $100, even $200 is not bad at all. If that will make you a lot more than a couple $100, even thousands of dollars extra in all of those extra sales that you're going to make. But if 99 Designs is too expensive for you, then there is a cheaper option. Something like this gig on Fiverr is super popular. You can see the review It's 4.9 average at 43,000 reviews. There is 264 pending orders currently, and there are many repeat buyers. That is how you know that the quality is good. But an ebook cover is only $10. Even if you try to get the ebook, print, and ACX cover, it's only $30 to order from this person. So it is a very good option if you want to go more of the affordable, budget-friendly option on Fiverr. I'll leave a link to this gig if you want to check it out. But the point is to have a very attractive cover that stands out. And if you can do that, it doesn't matter where you order from or even if you design the covers yourself. All right, so how can you apply all of this information? The biggest factors were niching down into a very specific audience type and creating a custom book tailored to solving problems specific to that audience. So you can actually do this with any niche. Instead of making a book for literally everyone on that topic, you can pick one audience. There's a lot of different ways to niche down and segment the same keyword into different audience type. You can have a keyword for kids, teens, adults, moms, dads, seniors, grandpa, grandma. There's so many different, demographics, also age groups, genders, ways to niche down and segment, right? So you can pick one audience. This is a great way to break down a really, really big keyword into a smaller one that you can compete in. And the second thing is to figure out what problems they're dealing with. When people buy nonfiction books, they're always looking to solve a problem. So ask yourself, why are people buying books on this topic? What exactly are they looking to learn? What exactly are the problems that they're facing? Once you figure that out by doing good customer research, then you go and make your book the absolute solution to all those problems. That is how you get 5-star reviews. And third is, once again, once you identified those problems, you want to solve as many of those in your book as you can. Weave in some personal stories. If you're hiring ghostwriters, make sure you hire a ghostwriter that knows what they're talking about. Some companies like the Urban Writers should be able to find you a good writer for most topics that you want to write about. So that would be a good option there. But that's exactly how I created this book, and that is exactly why I believe it is the #1 book so far for my second brand. And I'm sure it'll keep making much more than 20K. And I'm sure that there will be a lot of other books that'll make way more than this in the future. So I'm excited to keep building my KDP business, and hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy it, leave me a like, comment any questions you have. I also have a free training on how I built my first KDP brand to over 7 figures in valuation. So if you want to learn how I did that, the link to the training is in the description, as well as all the tools and resources that I recommend for your publishing business, also in the description below. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.